Hello there, friends. Welcome to this week's episode of A Word to Live By. My name is Tutu, and I'm here to share with you a word that struck my heart recently and has consistently resonated with me since that first time. It's about how we perceive situations that we come across and how we make our decisions or react based on what we perceive. So a few of us might be asked to view the same picture in exactly the same circumstances. And when asked to paint in words what we've seen, the likelihood is that we're going to come out with different pictures of what we've seen. A bit like the glass is half full and the glass is half empty scenario. My text today is taken from the book of 2 Kings chapter 2 from verse 1 to 14. And it's the story of Elijah when he was being taken up into heaven in a chariot of fire. The sons of the prophet were there with Elisha. They were all aware of what was going to happen to Elijah that day. 2 Kings chapter 2 verse 3 tells me that the sons of the prophet were aware. And Elisha's response in that circumstances tells me as well that Elisha himself was aware that his master was going to be taken away. So Elisha was a prodigy of Elijah, a bit like an apprentice. The sons of the prophet would have had prophets that were mentoring them as well, people in whose footsteps they were following. So they had this information by the Spirit or by word of mouth that Elijah was going to be taken up into heaven that day. And the only thing they could see in the circumstance was to warn Elisha, you're going to be left by yourself today. Your master is going to be taken away. Elisha said to them, I know. Hold your peace. All these prophets were aware of the mighty works that Elijah had done. They would have witnessed when he single-handedly faced the prophets of Baal and called down fire. Said, the God that answers by fire, let him be God. How he showcased the might of his God. These prophets would have known. The sons of prophets would have known. But Elijah was going away. And all they could think about was, Elisha, you're going to be left by yourself. Your master is going away today. Are you not aware? You're still following him blindly. Can you not turn back? What are you going to gain from this relationship? This man is leaving you today. Elisha stood his ground and said, I know. Hold your peace. Hold your peace. Oh, if we could cultivate that spirit of Elisha. He didn't know how it was going to end. He knew that his master was going, but he knew in his heart what he desired from God. And I bet he would have prayed, Lord, this is what I want. Even Elijah tried to discourage him, told him, I'm going to the Jordan. You wait here. But Elisha said, no, I'm going with you. And Elijah asked him, what would you have me do for you? And Elisha answered him, what I want is a double portion of your anointing. Elijah looked at him and said, you asked a hard thing. But do you know what? If you can wait and see me taken away, as hard as your request is, you will have it. But if you cannot do that, if you cannot stay the course, you're not going to have it. But Elisha was a determined man. He stayed the course. He saw Elijah taken up into heaven by chariots of fire. And he got a double portion of Elijah's anointing. Remember, Elijah used his mantle to part the Jordan to get to the other side where he was raptured, or where he was taken up in a chariot of fire. Elisha needed to get back across the Jordan. What a better time to test to see whether he had actually received Elijah's anointing, talk less of a double portion. He replicated the miracle. The Jordan parted for him to go back across, where the sons of the prophets were waiting. The sons of the prophet who were telling him, do you know your master is going to be taken away from you today? They were now, wanting to associate with him. If you stay the course, when your God comes through for you, people will want to associate with you. People who looked at you and thought, she must be stupid. Still hanging on in this situation. She must be senseless. Still going this way, even though it looks like there's nothing that's going to come out of it. But Elisha saw beyond. He saw a different picture to what the sons of the prophets saw. Reminds me of a wonderful woman in the Bible by the name of Ruth. Ruth's husband was dead. Her brother-in-law was dead. Her father-in-law was dead. She was left with just her mother-in-law and her sister-in-law. At the first opportunity, the sister-in-law voted with her legs. Mother-in-law said, even if I remarry now and have other sons, they're too young for you to wait to remarry you. You go and remarry. Go back to your fatherland. Go and remarry and start your lives again. Orpah, Ruth's sister-in-law, grabbed the opportunity with both hands, kissed her mother-in-law, and left her. Ruth said, I will stay with you. I'm not going anywhere. Your people shall be my people. Your God shall be my God. Ruth stayed the course. And God used Ruth not only as a deliverance for herself, but also as a deliverance for her mother-in-law. Because she stayed the course. At that time, it didn't look like that she had anything to gain from that relationship from her mother-in-law. It was just a dogged, selfless, giving attitude that made her stay. I'm going to stay with you. I'm in this for the whole haul. I'm not going to turn back when the battle seems fierce. Beloved, if only we can stay the course. Many times we give up on God at the slightest hurdle. There's no point in us running a race when we're not going to run it to the end. It's very clear that it's only the person that runs to the end and runs by the rules is even has a potential of getting the prize at all. In this race, we are all winners if we can run it to the end by the rules. But the problem is we give up. This hurdle is too high and then we turn back. I can't carry on with this race. It's just too hard, I can't do it. Yes, you can't do it if you do it in your own strength. But our strength is from God. That's where we draw our strength from when it looks like all hope is lost. When as flesh, we have made those mistakes that we think, where am I going to pick up these pieces from? Silly me, I've gone and done it again. Where am I going to start from? But His loving kindness keeps drawing us to Him. Just stay the course. Run it by His strength and not by yours. Ruth would have seen something. What ordinarily we can't see. No husband, no father-in-law, no brother-in-law. No chance of procreation. What could this old woman, Naomi, offer her at this point? But Ruth stayed the course. Elijah was going away. After today, no more Elijah. Why would Elisha keep following him around? Why not look for somebody else to start following and, learning from? There were other senior prophets there, I bet. Why did he not go and attach himself to any one of them? But he saw beyond. He did not abandon Elijah at that last point. He stood with it and got what he wanted, even a lot more than his master had. He asked for the double portion and he stayed the course and he got it. Dear friends, why don't we stay the course in those things that God has told us? Why don't we for once put on the blinkers against popular opinion and just stick with God? Why don't we stick with it when we know we heard Him? Many people see a vision. Oh, I've seen how great this ministry is going to be. I want to be a part of this ministry. Then somebody in that ministry does something you don't really like. And you forget that the vision is from God, not from that individual. At the end of the day, that person is a man, fallible, capable of a fault, capable of doing wrong, having a bad day. Only God does not have a bad day. Why don't you stick with God? Why don't you do things as unto the Lord? Ruth served Naomi as unto the Lord. Otherwise, there was no gain in persisting in that relationship with her mother-in-law. Elijah was going away. There was nothing more for Elisha. But Elisha knew that I followed this man because of the Spirit of God in him. That spirit it can remain with me. I'm not going to turn back at this point. I'm going to stick with it. And he stuck with it. And he got his good result. May we run it according to the rules. May we run it to the very end. May we earn the prize at the end of the race. Dear friends, have a wonderful week. Till we meet again on another episode of A Word to Live By. God bless you. Bye-bye.